All right, welcome to your third week of the program. So just to kind of recap everything really quick, in your first week, you were focused on creating direction with your lower half. Hopefully, you've started to implement that into your drill work. You've started to feel what a proper weight shift with the lower half feels like, and you've been able to start to let the ball travel deep now that you've created that momentum with your lower half. Just to kind of run through the throwing sequence again, we were creating direction with the lower half in the first week, which then led us into our second week, which allowed us to catch the ball a lot deeper because we had started to create that direction. So now that we're able to catch the ball a lot deeper, we're able to perform our transfers a lot later and a lot closer to our body, which is going to keep everything very tight. So, if you don't have a good understanding of these first 2 weeks just yet, there's no harm in going back and reperforming some of the drills that you've already done, or watching some of the modules, that went with that week, just so you can really solidify those concepts if you haven't yet. Another thing to note here, if you start to fall behind in the program, or maybe you're not caught up to the start of week 3 just yet, there's no harm in also asking me to push back your drill work a little bit. There's been guys in the program where they have been honest with me and said, hey, I'm got hit in the shoulder, for whatever reason I wasn't able to practice the last few days. Do you mind pushing my program back? That's something that I don't have any problem with. I'd rather you keep up and actually get the program done than you try to stay on a strict timeline. It's more important that you learn these concepts in full and then are able to apply them to your drill work so you can actually see results. So if you're not getting stuff done as fast as you thought you could, reach out to me. I can always make adjustments to the program, but that's something you have to ask for. If you don't ask, I won't know that you need it. Something also to think about is, you're halfway through the program right now, so you can make a judgment as to, how hard you've been working. If you feel like, hey, I've been kind of following the program pretty loose, not really working as hard as I should be, have that conversation with yourself and be okay with maybe taking a couple steps back and going over what you missed before you progress forward. Again, this is a throwing sequence, so we have to learn every part of the sequence and really have a good understanding for us to be able to drop our pop times. So have that conversation with yourself. If you've been keeping up, doing all the drills, then good, keep moving on. If you need to go back and re-perform some things or re-watch some videos, no harm in that either. Just need to be real with yourself, because at the end of the day, only really you know how hard you're working. If you feel like you could be working harder, again, just admit that to yourself, move on, and either ask me to make adjustments to your program or go back and make up what you've missed. And then the last thing is, hopefully at the end of week 1, you retested your pop time. And then hopefully at the end of week 2, you retested your pop time. If you haven't done that yet, definitely go back and try and see if you can get on a field, retest your pop time. Usually there's some kind of results by now, especially if you have a good understanding of what you've learned in the first couple weeks. You should at least have decreased your pop time by a little bit just based on those concepts. And it's always kind of cool to see the progress. If you had a good jump, or I like the work you're putting in, it's possible that I'm gonna make a video out of it, put it on, my social media. So that's usually pretty cool. So if you want something like that, make sure you're getting after it and actually making improvements, just so I can highlight you on the page. But yeah, so we'll get into week 3.